Now that you've renamed your template and it's here in your video project folder, you'll double click on this file. Always come to this folder and double click on your Premiere project to make sure it's the one that has your latest work in it. If it crashes or you shut down without saving it, then you may have an autosave, but you always want to bring it back to this main folder. Double clicking on your Premiere project will open it up. The first time that you open it, it's going to ask you about your Scratch disk settings. Remember, we've made a Scratch folder in our Documents folder on our computer. We want that to be separate from our project. These are files that if we delete them, it's no big deal. Premiere will simply recreate the folder as needed. But it will make hundreds of files that we don't want mixed in with our project. So I'm going to go to the video previews, the third one down, and browse to my documents and choose my Scratch folder. I'm going to do that again for audio previews just in case you add any music. And again, Scratch folder. The second time, it already knows where it thinks you want to put it. And that's it. Once we click OK, we're here in Adobe Premiere. And I've got a couple things that I have made for you already. You can see them here on the timeline. So that's what this is. This is the current time indicator. Sometimes I'll call it my laser pointer. And you can see that it's showing a red block right now. That's a warning color. You can create these blocks in Adobe Premiere, and it's something that we're going to use to make sure we don't make a mistake in scaling down our images or moving them. Now this is the master timeline. You can see that this is like a mini version of this timeline over here. If you close this, it says there's no sequences. Over here in your project, here's our project. I call this the asset box. You can see we're in our main project. I can double click on the little icon and it will open it back up. So don't worry if it looks like you lost all your work. It may just be that that timeline was closed. Here's another asset, that's that warning color. We also have a couple of more assets, and these are text titles we'll use for our captions that I've made that will be easy to read on any background. They're there at the end, and when we need one, we'll copy it and bring it to be over the picture. When you first import your pictures, they will be 5 seconds long. By default, titles like this, and your images will be 5 seconds long. Be careful you don't grab the end like this and stretch them. Don't try and make them a certain size. They need to stay 5 seconds long. It doesn't matter if we're zoomed in and it looks like it lasts longer. That's still 5 seconds. It goes 5 seconds across here. If you zoom out and they look like little slivers, again, still the same length of time. It just lets us zoom in for detail work and then zoom back out to see the whole thing. Right up here you can see that we are on Effect Controls in the Edit workspace. Window Workspace will show you that we are in the Editing workspace. There are many different workspaces, and if you go to some of the other ones you can see what they look like, but this allows us to do things like change this up a little bit so we can see the video a little bit better, or if we want to look at a list of our assets, we might make this a lot bigger so we can look at them. But then when you need to, you can just Window Workspace and reset your workspace to the saved layout for that one. And it goes right back to this. So this is the point at which we'll be ready to import our pictures. I'm going to Control-Z undo since I moved those two captions over just to show you what it looked like. I could also have stretched the warning color out a little bit, and you can see the two different styles. The white and the black gives us the highest contrast, and there's going to be a lot of moving images behind them, so it needs to be really easy to read. This font is an easy one, and with that contrast, the glow around it, then it'll work great. So we're going to keep those ready to go. I'm going to Control-Z undo again so that they are after the end of our approximately 1 minute and 15-second video that we're going to play.